How do you like living in New York?
I like it. I'm not one of those people who like loves New York. It's convenient, you know, like I go to Minion every day, and the Minion is a block away from my apartment. And if I want to go to Minion somewhere else, I have like 15 other choices within a 3-block radius. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but not much. And I like kind of all the Jewish stuff that's easy to get around here. Just like everything is convenient if you're, well, not everything, but a lot of things about Jewish life are pretty convenient if you live in New York City. But I don't love kind of stereotypical New Yorkers. I don't love the city. I would prefer to live in Chicago or in England. But I'm actually much happier here than I anticipated being, so that's good.
How does it affect your happiness level living in a place where there are a ton of Jews and a ton of learned Jews, and living in a place where there are very few Jews?
Wait, say, what was the end of that question?
How does it affect your happiness level between living in a place where there are tons of Jews and a place where there are almost no Jews?
I don't think it does affect my happiness level. I mean, it affects my lifestyle in that, like, when I was in Iowa, I was the only one, like, I was the Jewish caterer, so, I mean, I made Shabbat dinner for everyone who was having Shabbat dinner in Iowa City. And so that was like a day-to-day thing, but it didn't affect my happiness, whether or not I was making. I mean, I like Shabbat dinner, but it wasn't like a huge happy factor for me. I think it's really nice to be around people who agree with you or think about similar things and so on, but, you know, I was really happy in Nashville, and I'm really happy in New York City, and they're not similar places, so I'm not sure that that's a huge factor.
I assume you've got a lot of non-Jewish friends?
Not a lot, but a decent amount, yeah.
Are there any basic differences that strike you generally between Jews and non-Jews?
Well, it's really hard for me to say because the vast majority of my Jewish friends are pretty involved in Judaism. I have very few friends who are Jewish and completely secular and, you know, don't do anything Jewish. And the vast majority of my non-Jewish friends are at least a little bit religious in whatever their religious persuasion is, and I think that often, I mean, I'm friends with them because for the most part I have a lot in common with them, so we do agree on a lot of stuff, and I think that they don't seem hugely different from me for the most part. Probably I would feel like I had a lot less in common with a totally secular Jew than I would with, you know, most of my religious Muslim or Christian or whatever friends.
How do you notice the practice of Judaism affecting people?
I mean, I think it affects people in a ton of ways. Obviously, if you, I was just thinking about this when I was at Minion on Sunday, that I went to a place that I don't usually go because I was in Chicago, and it was a lot of kind of young, modern Orthodox guys who were all kind of in jeans and sweatshirts. It was Sunday in the middle of the day, and they just ran in from Mincha Mariv. And it was occurring to me that these guys are in that room at least twice a day, sometimes more, almost every day. And I think that if you kind of return to the same community that frequently and spend that much time with people, that's kind of a big deal. And it's going to affect your life in pretty big ways. It's going to make you probably, I mean, certainly not every Jew I know is socially adept, but it's going to make you comfortable in certain social situations. You're going to get to know communities pretty well, pretty quickly, especially if you move to a new place. And, I mean, I think the way that people interact with text, if they've ever done any real serious Torah learning is really different, regardless of if you're talking about like a literary text, like a novel or the Torah. If you've done serious Torah learning, then I think when you start to look at other pieces of literature, you're very likely to look at them and understand them in different ways than somebody who's never taken such a heavily analytical look at text. So that's a big difference.
And do they tend to be kinder, finer, smarter, wiser?
I don't know. I think that people who are really involved in a Jewish community are usually pretty socially graceful, which I think gets you pretty far in life. And I sometimes wonder when I'm like watching movies and stuff where there's a real baddie character, I don't think that I really know anyone who fits that bill. And I wonder how many people are really like that. I assume that they do exist, but I don't know any of them, and I can't really think of ever having met any of them. And so I wonder, I wonder how many of them there are and how come I haven't met any of them. And I don't think that there are no real baddies in the Jewish community because it's pretty clear that that's not the case. But I do think that most people who are really invested in a religious community are likely to be, I don't know, I think mainly the communities that I affiliate with, so like I can't tell you what's going on in like Hasidic Brooklyn, but most of the people I know who are religious are like pretty self-critical and really like thinking about what they do and not going through the motions without any forethought.
Do you have any thoughts on how we can create good people?
I think that we don't do enough character education, and I say that not with a really great understanding of what it would be to have a really great character education curriculum. Like, I'm not sure how you would teach great character education, but I don't feel like there is much or any of that going on at this point. I think that I wonder a lot about how important education is because I think it's very important, and it seems like the media thinks it's hugely important, but like a college degree is not the right thing for everybody. And we do like need plumbers and electricians and people who fix our cars and kill the mice in our apartments and all those things, which you don't really need a college degree for that, and I don't think that that makes those people, you know, any less important since we do need them. So I don't know if education necessarily makes you a better person. If it does, then maybe everybody should get a college degree, even though we don't need them all to for their vocations. I think that spending time with people from different socioeconomic stratas than yourself is a pretty quick way of learning a lot about the world and probably becoming a better person. But I don't know of anything that's like a foolproof way to being a better person.
Mm-hmm. When you learn that someone's a rabbi, do you have any instinctive reaction?
Not really. I'm kind of an issue with female rabbis. I don't have a problem with them, but I know a lot of female rabbis that I think kind of come across as less serious figures, and as a result, I feel like being a female rabbi is like doubly hard because you have to get past people thinking that you're an idiot because you're a woman before they can really take you seriously as a rabbi. And some women don't get past that, and some women I don't think actually even try that hard to get past that. But that's kind of a personal thing. Like, I don't really think that, I accept that I'm a little harder on female rabbis just because I want them to be kind of the best of the best. And sometimes they're not, and I'm sad about that. But I don't think that